Hello people and welcome to another windsurfing tips videos. This one comes as a request of you, exactly you. Basically one of you guys said in the comments that you'd like to have a video on how to do a water start with a slalom sail. So I've been doing plenty of water starts recently with slalom sail as well as with a wave sail. And I think the basics are pretty similar, but there are a few specific things about water starting with a slalom sail that are slightly different or slightly harder than with a normal sail. So let's go right into it. I'm gonna use this GoPro POV video of me doing a water start with a slalom sail, and I will talk you guys through it. So let's go into the video. So as you can see guys, I start by swimming to the very end of the sail and I grab the very end, the very top of the mast. As you can see at the moment the sail is completely submerged underwater. There is water in the mast pocket of the sail, and I have already positioned the sail fell in a way that the top of the mast is pointing at a slight angle to the wind and the sail is upwind from the board. So if your sail is not in the upwind position of the board, just swim around and drag the equipment so that it comes into this position. So once the tip of the sail is pointing upwind with the wind going slightly at an angle to the mast, then you want to swim under the sail, grab the top of the mast and lift it above your head. Since the sail is very heavy, filled with water at this point, it will push you underwater. So to go up, you basically need to kick really hard with your legs. So you kind of do the breaststroke kick with your legs and just like kick as hard as you can. And you'll also need to take a breath of air and just hold your breath up until you manage to go up above the water, kick your way back up to the surface of the water basically. So you kick. You can also help with the hand that you're not holding the sail, just kind of push the water down. So at this point, having any flotation, so like a wetsuit, impact vest or a flotation vest, will help you to do this process significantly. Once you manage to lift the whole sail out of the water, very important to make sure that the whole sail, the whole mast has lifted out of the water and the wind is helping you already to fly the sail. And you might want to hold it in this position up until all water or most of the water runs out of the mast sleeve. Once the water is out of this mast sleeve and you feel that the sail is lighter and the wind is helping the sail to stay up, you want to slide your hands down the mast to get closer to the boom. So you can just slip your hand down the mast, as you can see me doing here, up until you can reach the boom. Then you grab the boom with one hand, the back hand first, then you remove your front hand from the mast onto the boom. And at this point, if the cambers are still in the wrong position, you want to rotate the cambers. So you can do this in two ways. One is putting your head up against the point where the batten connects to the camber and pushing with it. Or if you have enough power and enough wind, you can just lift the sail up slightly and pull down hard and suddenly to flip the cambers. So once the cambers are flipped and both of your hands are on the boom, you want to make sure that the lower leech of the sail is on top of the board in between the foot straps. So as you can see me doing here, I do pulls with the back hand to get the lower leash towards the board. So you just kind of like pull with the back hand as if you would be pumping a bit while you keep the front hand steady, or you can even push down slightly with the front hand. Your goal is to grab the foot strap of the board, the back foot strap of the board with the lower leash and pull toward yourself. Once you have done that, put on the back leg on the board, and at this point you start controlling the direction of where the board is pointing to in two ways. So one is with the hands. Basically, if you extend your front hand and pull in the back hand, the board will turn downwind. Pull in the front hand and extend the back hand, the sail will push the board to go upwind. You can also help this with your leg. If you are pulling with your back leg, so it means you're using the hamstring and like pushing down with your heel on the board, you can pull in the back of the board closer to you and push down the nose. And if you move the foot more towards the upwind rail of the board and push down on it, the board will start pointing upwind a little bit. At this point, there are a few things that can go wrong. So for example, if the wind is really strong, the powerful slalom cambered sail can pull you really hard and throw you over the top of the rig. That has happened to me multiple times. So to avoid that, you control the pressure of the sail with the back hand. So it means if the sail starts lifting you and you already feel like you're flying on top of the board, just extend the back hand as much as you can and pull in the front hand, and that will stop you from being thrown over. So yeah, and if it's like normal wind conditions and you have the back leg on the board, and as you can see, I have the heel of my foot in the middle of the board. You don't want to put the foot sideways because then you'll have no power to push up on it. So put the heel of the foot onto the middle of the board and start pulling down with your hamstring, and just try to get your heel under you as if kind of you'd be doing a single leg squat. And at the same time, you will be pushing the front hand, extending and pulling the back hand a little bit to generate the power. So the board should be turning slightly downwind throughout the time when you're getting onto the board. And as you can see, as soon as I get on top of the board, I release the back hand. I don't release it completely, but I extend it completely and I pull in the front hand so that I would not be pulled over the front by the powerful sail. And then you sail along normally. And now let's go into another example. So yeah, here you can see I tried to do a tack and my sail fell down and the whole sail is underwater. This is literally the worst position it can be in. The whole mast sleeve, as you can see, is filled with water. So I'll have quite a little bit of work to get this sail out. But with the following tips, it should be pretty easy. So as you can see, I swim towards the top of the mast and I also position at the same time the sail in a way that the top of the sail, top of the mast is pointing upwind, so that when I lift the sail out of the water, the wind is helping to fly it. So here you can see I swim under, and keep in mind that my camera is on top of the helmet, so my face is actually around 10 centimeters lower than that. So here you can see my whole head is in the water since it's being pushed down by the heavy sail. I'm extending my one hand as far above the head as I can so that the sail is being caught by the wind. I'm kicking as hard as I can with both of my legs and my free arm to lift myself as far up of the water as I can. And you can see this works pretty well, and in a few seconds the sail is already out of the water, and now the water is running out of the mast sleeve. So when you feel that the sail lightens and is flying by itself in the wind, you start sliding down the mast just like that. And then, as before, you grab the boom and continue doing a normal water start. In this case, I flip the sail over since I need to go to the other direction. So let's just go over the flipping of the sail again. So if you want to go one way and the sail is pointing the other, what you want to do is you extend your front hand extremely as far as you can, as you can see, and pull in the back hand to your chest. This way the sail is going to be pulling forward and you're just waiting up until you feel that it's really going to start to pull you over to the other side. Then you move your front hand as close to the mast as you can and release the backhand, and the sail flips over by itself or by the wind. And then once you feel it flipping over, you switch your hand to the other side and grab the sail on the other side. So that the sail doesn't fall in the water once it's on the other side, you want to push it with both hands forward and upwind. So when the sail is being pushed upwind, since it's going up against the wind is going to create pressure and help you to lift the sail up and out of the water. At this point, as you can see, my board is still pointing far too much upwind, and the cambers are still not flipped. So here, I give it a good grab, a good pull in with the back hand. So as said before, the lower leash of the sail is positioned in between the foot straps. The cambers are still not flipped. And here, I actually stand up on the board without flipping the cambers, which is also an option since I felt there was enough wind and I didn't feel like I needed to push the cambers through completely to the other side for the sail to pull me over. So let's just go back a few seconds. As you can see, the foot goes on the board, and in this case the wind was quite strong, so as soon as I put the foot, I already felt that the sail is pulling me up, and I just pulled in my backhand a little bit and pushed down with the front hand, which helped to push the nose of the board down. And as soon as I turned a little bit more downwind, there was enough force in the powerful sail to pull me up onto the board. And as mentioned before, as soon as you get onto the board, release the backhand so you're not getting pulled over. In this case, I hooked in and then released the backhand, which is also an option. So, I hope that helps you guys on how to do a water start with a slalom sail. As you can see in these videos, I do not have an uphill rope on my slalom sails. It's not something I would recommend for the recreational sailor, but for me, that means that the only way for me to get up after a crash is either to pull the sail up by the mast, which is not easy, or do a water start. So I've been doing plenty of water starts with my slalom sails, and yeah, I think I've gotten pretty good at them. So the main tip, if the sail is under the water and the water is in the mast leaf, don't be lazy, swim to the top of the mast and lift it out from there. It works every single time. Let me know if this was helpful or if you have any more questions about it, and perhaps you have any other questions about some specific tips of technique on freeriding or slalom, and I would be more than happy to help you. Thanks for watching. Make sure you click the like button, click the subscribe button on the channel, and see you next time in another great video of mine. Ciao!